Bodhisattva arose from the Bodhi Manda, the Bodhi tree, and he accepted it. Then the Bodhisattva walked 30 feet ahead, 30 steps, and suddenly about 500 blue birds, they appeared in the sky. They circled over the head of the Bodhisattva and then they flew away. Then then Mara, he sent his 3 beautiful daughters from the north to seduce the Bodhisattva. But the Bodhisattva, he pressed his foot down, and all these 3 daughters, they turned into old hags. Then King Mara himself came from the south, but he too was defeated. So that is the origin of the Bhumi Sparsh Mudra. And then he gives a account of the various, he says that wherever near the Bodhisattva, near the Animesh Lochan, where the serpent, the Naga king Mukalind, encoiled the Buddha for 7 days, at all these places, the devout have created stupas. So this was Fazian's account, which was translated, which we sourced from the Taisho edition. I think it is 2072 or something, as far as I remember. Then the prince of the travelers, as we know, is Zhuang Zhang. And it is on the basis of Zhuang Zhang's account, Travels in the Western World, translated by Professor Samuel Beal, many others. Recently, a lot of work is being done by Professor Max Deeg. He was here at Bodh Gaya, I met him. So, Zhuang Zhang's account was posthumously translated by his disciple Hui Li, and it is titled in Chinese The Great Tang, Train Datang, something like that. So he gives a very vivid description of the Bodhi tree, and he talks about the several times it was cut by King Shashank, and even he talks about Ashoka's king Tishirakshita, who out of jealousy poisoned that tree. Then King Ashoka, out of remorse, he bathed it in perfumed milk and water, and overnight that tree again sprung up. Then he erected bolstered around an enclosure around the Bodhi tree, and supposedly that was the beginning of the Mahabodhi temple complex. Not exactly the temple, but in this way he laid the foundation of the construction which was done over several phases. Mahabodhi temple, of course, was not constructed in one phase. Difficult to say when exactly it was completed, but there are several influences over it. One very striking thing about Zhuang Zhang's account is that he talks about the Vajrasan. The Vajrasan is the stone, the platform, the diamond throne on which the Buddha prayed. And when Zhuang Zhang conceptualizes it as the center of the earth, center of the cosmos, he talks about it as 3 lok sahasram alok dhatu, ya tri-cosmos, the earth beneath, then the earth, the beneath the patal lok, and then your sky. And the Vajrasan is the diamond throne, and he says that it was created when this whole universe was being created during Bhadrakalp, and it reaches down to the golden throne, and it is made of diamonds. And many Buddhas earlier have also attained Buddhahood over it. And when the Buddha attained the Buddhahood, the supreme knowledge, so the whole earth started shaking. But the Bodhisattva, he traversed along the 4 corners of this Vajrasan, and it laid still. So it is the center of the earth, the center of the universe. That is what Zhuang Zhang portrays. So, and you know that it was on the basis of Zhuang Zhang's account, a very meticulous account, that Alexander Cunningham and many others, they discovered the Buddhist geography, about which there were much confusion. Lumni was supposed to be in Assam, Kushinara was supposed to be somewhere else, and presently lot of work, there are many people. One particular person I would like to talk about, maybe he could have been invited to this conference, Deepak Anand. He has walked the 2,500 kilometers traveled by Zhuangzhang, and the idea is to rejuvenate the path, all those places which was undertaken by Zhuangzhang during his journey. And very recently, at Navnaranda Mahavihar, the learned Vice Chancellor Professor Siddharth, who is a scholar of Pali and Buddhism, he organized a walk from Navnalanda Mahavihar through uh, through the forest there, the Jetian forest, to Gurpa, in the trail, rejuvenating the trail of Mahakashyap. So I would request the Taiwanese honored delegation. So this is just the beginning of the many visits you make, and your presence will add to the enrichment of the archaeology, the history, and the culture of this place. Then the Chinese travelers I talk about is Wai Xin. Wai Xin visited something between 1636 and 713. So he also talks about, he is about the records of the inner law from the southern sea, translated into Chinese, and he describes about the several stupas created there. And then we have an account by a Chinese envoy, Wang Zhanxi. He visited Bodh Gaya 3 times. This is between 646 AD to 668 AD. His travelogue is not available to us, but some parts of it are available to us in the Taisho edition, the Japanese edition, the Jewels of the Forest in the Garden of Dharma, Taisho 2082. And here he says that he visited the monastery here. There were 3 monasteries in Bodh Gaya. And the monastery which he visited, Vihar Swamin, and the head of the monastery, Shiladitya. So they offered many presents, silk robes, pearls, and then he also says one very remarkable thing, that people are erecting stupas and in also honor of their past ones, the people who have deceased. Even we have an example, we have a reference of a Chinese traveler who was here, I just cannot recollect right now, and he erected a stupa in honor of the Tang dynasty emperor. Now this this envoy Wang Zi, he visited on the 27th day of the 9th month of the 5th year of the Xinjiang era of the Great Tang. So there's something corroborating to 662 AD. So you know what I wanted to say, that from your part, number of Chinese travelers have been here before, and you also add to that growing list. So keep visiting this part of Bodh Gaya. And when we talk about multiculturalism in Bodh Gaya, so we go to we have an inscription at Bodh Gaya. You know, Bodh Gaya inscriptions, J.F. Fleet, he published a paper in the Journal of Royal Society of London, a very important source. Now, then a very important inscription is the Mahanaman inscription, 590 AD, I think. And here he talks about the King Med Varman building a monastery here, renovating the temple here, and that monastery alludes to the monastery built by Samudragupta. But Sir Arvind Mahajan sir is here, retired director of archaeology, still very much connected with the archaeology in this part. So, in my opinion, as far as I know, I don't think that we have still located any remains of that monastery. Now, so that again opens fascinating probabilities as to the potential research which can be conducted in this area. What we see above, much is buried still down, and much is still buried behind the bushes and the rocks, which need to be discovered in ongoing pursuit of scholarship. So Mahanaman's inscription talks about the monastery of Samudragupta, and Zhuangzhang saw it. And he says that about 1,000 monks were there. Then as we proceed, this part, 1198, there was a Muslim-Turkish invasion. and Bakhtiyar-ud-Din Khilji most probably passed through this area, going onwards to Bihar, most probably Bihar Sharif, destruction of Nalanda. There is a learned associate assistant professor Chand Prakash ji. He has worked there and he has just contributed an article, as far as I remember, about the remains of the monastic remains post Bakhtiyar-ud-Din Khilji's raid in that part. Now, so after that destruction, there he passed through it because we have an account 1234. There is a Tibetan traveler. He is Gendun Shopel, not Gendun Shopel, Dharam Swamin. Now Dharam Swamin's account, it was translated by Dr. Rorik of University of Russian University Moscow, and it was brought by Rahul Sankrityayan from when he went on his travels to Tibet. And still the original manuscript is at KP Jaiswal Institute, Patna. So Dharam Swamin visited here and he gives a very vivid account of Bodh Gaya. He says that this temple has been abandoned. There are only 5 monks. Most of them have fled away because of the fear of Turkish soldiery. And they says that there was an imminent invasion. Somebody had said that Turkish soldiers are coming to desecrate the temple. So an image of Mahadev was painted out the Sanctum Sanctorum. Now when we talk about multiculturalism, we talk about a synthesis of cultures. A religious place used in one way, then again there is a reuse. There is always an afterlife of a sacred place, Now here this is something very interesting, that Mahadev is the Lord Protector in the Sanatan tradition. And here he is being invoked to protect the Mahabodhi temple. So there is a synthesis, But before that, again there was a Burmese delegation here before the Turkish invasion, after it, and that is 1298. That Burmese inscription was discovered here, that the king of Burma sent a delegation to repair the temple. So 2 things are there. What do we find? That we find that there is a cultural synthesis here. People from far and wide are coming here and contributing in their own ways. Then this temple becomes abandoned, nobody to care for. 1590s, a wandering monk Shaivite tradition, Ghavandi comes over here. He builds a monastery around the river. Now this temple comes under his jurisdiction, but nowhere, and he is a Shaivite monk in the order of Shankaracharya, but nowhere worship in the Buddhist way is being stopped. Of course, he is the custodian now. Okay? And even the monks, they used to stay in the Burmese Vihar inside the mud, which is now a rest house sort of thing. Okay? Then as we proceed further, there is a gap. Now people found not finding it safe to travel. Then we move towards the 20th century, the first half. We have the 13th Dalai Lama comes over here. It is Lord Curzon's period. And the British Imperial Project is about showcasing how the British care about Indian culture as an imperial project. And a very subtle message that, look, we can care for your heritage, but you still are unfit to rule because don't care about your heritage. And anyway, so, and then as we move forward, there is a monk from Sri Lanka, Angarika Dharampal, who founded the Mahabodhi Society, 1890s. And he is very much, disturbed by the state of affairs at the Mahabodhi temple. He calls for Bodh Gaya just like Jerusalem for Jews or Mecca for the Muslims. A movement is launched for total control by the Buddhists. Goes into the Indian National Congress also meetings. And then, based on the recommendations of Dr. Rajendra Prasad Committee in 1935, in 1949, the Bodh Gaya Temple Management Committee Act is resolved, where there is a joint, control. But in these recent days, what we find that the controversy which was surrounding total control, partial control, I think that when we consider the Buddhist ethos, the message of the Buddha, and the way Bodh Gaya has been developed, so these things, in my opinion, and at the ground reality, they do not add up to much. These all go contrary to the belief system around which Buddhism has been conceptualized. And then, before ending, I would like to talk about His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama, who first visited Bodh Gaya in December 59, after his exile began in March 1959, when he was exiled from China, along with his followers. Large number of followers came here, and in January he ordained about 100 monks at Bodh Gaya, and in November 1960, the democracy in Tibetan government in exile, the democracy movement starts here, and he calls for a composition of Tibetan parliament in exile, representatives from the different Buddhist sects, like Sakya, Kagyu, then your Gelugpa, and one another. So, and His Holiness Dalai Lama, considered by many to be the living Bodhisattva, he talks about in his book Freedom in Exile that he first wanted to come in 1956, but Chow Enlai, as the premier, the Chinese government was not giving him a permission to visit here. And 1956 was a very important year in the multicultural, milieu of Bodh Gaya, because it was the 2500th year of the Mahaparinirvan of Buddha. And the government of India wanted to showcase it as a very big event, and showcasing it also and trying to project to the world of a newly independent India as a repository of a very ancient synthetic culture. And state heads from different parts of the world, particularly Southeast Asia, they were here. These celebrations, they went on for about 1 year, and then here it was decided to grant them land, and then you see monasteries coming here. So, and His Holiness the Dalai Lama, he has contributed a lot to the internationalization of Bodh Gaya, which ultimately culminated in 2003. So, concluding, I would like to add that when we go to Bodh Gaya, my university is in Bodh Gaya, and I live in Gaya, but Bodh Gaya has been part of my growing up, being taken for the occasional picnic by my father. And still remembering, when the Dalai Lama used to come, there used to be that when Dalai Lama will come, there will be rains. And sometimes the rains would come, sometimes they would not come. And during the tourist season, when you go there, Bodh Gaya becomes a sea of maroon. The young and the old monks, they're just reciting their beads in their hand, whispering silent prayers to them. Then these Mollam Pujas, the Kal Chakra Pujas, and the Taiwanese monks, the monks from Korea and all. And they're also the red. I think that the Taiwanese monks, black, Chinese, what is their color? There is something classification about color also. I think red is for the Tibetans. What robe? Color of robe? Black color. No, that is the color. Gray. Black is the Korean or. Okay. So, Bodh Gaya has a multi-layered and a multicultural past, and there it is a synthesis of various cultures, and this is the way it should remain. Thank you.
Thank you for this interesting lecture, sir. Professor Sinha has been teaching history for more than 3 decades now and is very passionate about history of Magadh region in general and history of Buddhism in particular. It's always a pleasure to listen to you, sir. We will be taking questions towards the end of the session. We will be taking questions towards the end of the session.
I'm not making any question. I just want to. Professor Sinha has made mention of 3 monasteries. Wensang too has made mention of 3 monasteries, and some traveler in 7th century AD, the account of whom is not published. Ah. So in 1982-83, excavation of Taradi was carried out. Just to the west of Mahabodhi temple, remains of a monastery was excavated. Okay? Second monastery was found in present Kalchakra Maidan. And third one, when Orelstein was passing through this area, he was following the footsteps of Xuanshang. He was passing through Jetian and all the things. He found third monastery at Vishenpura village, which is now called Vishunpur or Vishenpur Tandwa. From there, more than 50 artifacts, Buddhist images were found, and which are in Pata Museum now. And I think the third monastery was there, which is now Cunningham mentions this Vishenpur Tandwa monastery. He identifies it as Odantapur monastery, which Taranath says that this was somewhere in Bihar Sharif. I just put these 2-3 observations before you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Our next speaker is Dr. Arvind Mahajan, a former director in charge of museums, Government of Bihar. And the theme that he will be speaking on is Magadh, the birthplace of Buddha and Buddhism. Over to you, sir.
आपका आ गया ओके
Respected delegates and audience present here, seeing the paucity of time, I'm not going through my presentation, which will be a bit longer. I'd like to read my paper. I think it will take much less time. Here, the topic of the conference comprises Magadh Empire and Buddhism. And these two terms are very much pertinent. Here, the Magadh Empire, the word Magadh Empire was coined by K.P. Jaiswal. For the first time, he used the word Magadh Empire, in contrast of the British Empire, which was very much thriving then. The empire building of Magadh, which was just one of the 6 Mahajan Padas, began with contest of Lichvis by Ajatashatru, the king of Magadh. And at the same time, and in the space, Buddhism as a faith or other religion started rolling on. Though after the Shungas, 2nd century BC, Magadh Empire ceased to exist, but Buddhism strongly thrived. The territories being ruled by a particular dynasty came to be known by the name of the dynasty, like Kushana Empire, Gupta Empire, etc. But the empire of Buddhism kept spreading on and on. The empire of Buddhism, which was expanded far and wide along with the empire of Magadh, remained intact even after the fall of Magadh Empire and is ruling over some religious domains even today. I say the land of Magadh is the land of the birthplace of Buddha. This is a bit confusing. I am saying that this is the birthplace of Buddha. This is a bit confusing because it is generally said that Buddha was born at Kapilavastu in Nepal, but at the time of his birth, it was just our physical birth or bodily birth, and he was only a bodhisattva, Siddhartha Gautama. Buddhist literatures hold that prior to present Buddha, many of people tried to become Buddha, but they couldn't. It was only Siddhartha Gautama who got supreme knowledge and became the Buddha at Bodh Gaya. And it was the land of Magadh. So I say the land of Magadh is the place where Siddhartha Gautama, the Bodhisattva, took a rebirth as Buddha. Here in Magadh at Bodh Gaya, the Buddha ordained his first 2 disciples, Tapassu and Bhallika, who were merchants from Ukkaladesh, present Odisha, in his fold. He ordained them under the Rajaitan tree. After 7 weeks of enjoying the supreme knowledge, Buddha ordained these two merchants with Buddham Sharanam Gacchami and Dhammam Sharanam Gacchami, because then Sangha had not come into existence, thus laying the cornerstone of his faith, which is in due course turned into a religion, Buddhism. After ordaining the first two traders, Buddha proceeded to Isipatan, Sarnath, and delivered his first sermon, which in Buddhist chronicles is recorded as Dharma Chakra Pravartan. He made this first sermon before his 5 earlier followers, Kondana, Bhaddiya, Vappa, Mahanam, and Assaji, who had deserted him at Bodh Gaya because of consuming the rice porridge offered by Sujata to him. After the first sermon, Buddha constituted the Samgha, the third Ratna or jewel of the religion, and ordained his 5 earlier followers in his faith with all the 3 jewels, Buddham Sharanam Gacchami, Dhammam Sharanam Gacchami, and Sangham Sharanam Gacchami. Thereafter he turned to Bodh Gaya and brought the 3 Kasapa brothers, Uruvel, Nadi, and Gaya, who had more than 1,600 Niyut followers in Magadh and Anga. He converted these Kasapa followers to his fold. He converted the Bhasmi ascetics with matted hair and smearing ashes over their body, who were said to be sun or fire worshippers, to his faith. With deliberation of Aditya Paryaya Sutta, he convinced these ascetics that he is synonym of sun, Aditya Paryaya. With conversion of Kasapa brothers and the Bhasmi ascetics, the Buddha had disputed intellectual sway over the region of Magadh as well as Anga. Thus, Magadh was the land of action of Buddha, and he has spent many of his Varshavas, rain retreat, at least 8 in Magadh. After the demise of the Buddha, first Buddhist council was convened at Rajagriha to compile the sayings of Buddha, the Vinay rules, as Mahavagga, a part of Vinay Pitaka, which became the rule book of Buddhism as a religion. At this time, the religion was the purest form of the religion based on the sayings of Buddha, with many do's and don'ts. People from all walks of life, beyond caste and creed, became the followers and practiced the religion. Due to some deep-rooted taboos, preconceived notions and beliefs, as well as changing dynamics of the society with march of time, a group of followers residing to the north of the Ganges in particular were uncomfortable, as some of the do's and don'ts of the faith were not compatible with them. Day by day their number was swelling, and they were making pressure to find some way out, or they will quit the faith. To resolve the mess, Second Buddhist Council was convened in Vaishali in 4th century BCE. The council lettered schism in Buddhism, and as a result, 2 schools, Asthavirvadis and Mahasangit, emerged. This schism was further rooted in differences regarding the monastic discipline, Vinay rules, and doctrinal interpretations. We can say the Asthavirvadins as orthodox and the Mahasangikas as progressive. The Mahasangikas differed from the Asthavirvadin in concept of multiple Buddha and Bodhisattvas, who were supermundane. The Mahasangikas also held that Buddha's earthly existence was an apparition. They also had a more liberal view on the path to the enlightenment and nature of arhats. But radically, this philosophical revolution of Mahasangikas did not go far and remained at the level of concept and motive only. Even it could not make a firm ground, for language being the biggest hurdle. By then, the entire Buddhist treatise was in Pali language, and the region to the north of the Ganges was dominated by Sanskrit. Moreover, the Vaishali region, the people of which were instrumental in Sikhism, was being ruled by Kalashoka, the king of Shishunag dynasty of mighty Magadh. I am discussing this issue because later we will see how this Sikhism brought a drastic change in nature of Buddhism, gave way to the deification of Buddha and his icon making. Asoka was converted to Buddhism after Kalinga War, and he was advocate of the purest form of religion. To stop further Sikhism, he organized the Third Buddhist Council at Patliputra, which was presided by Moggalliputta. In this council, the Abhidhamma Pitaka was compiled to solidify the Theravada tradition. It was clearly commanded in this council that the people who do not have belief in the basic tenets of the religion or sayings of the Buddha may put on white robe and leave the Sangha. As a result, Mahasangikas left the Sangha and settled at Nalanda. Thus, after Third Buddhist Council, a formal division of Buddhist Sangha took place. The Mahasangikas developed the concept of Trikaya, or three bodies of the Buddha, which described the nature of Buddha and different aspects of Buddhahood. Developed the Trikaya doctrine, specifically the concept of Dharmakaya, the body of essence, is linked with the Mahasangika's school views on Buddha's nature and their emphasis on the transcendent aspect of the Buddha. Thus, the Mahasangikas viewed the Buddha as a transcendent and supermundane being, which sown the seed of Mahayana, paved the way for deification of Buddha and icon making in due course. The Trikaya concept was further fully developed in the Mahayana system of Buddhism, and the three bodies of Trikaya are as Dharmakaya, the body of essence. This is the absolute and unmanifested body of the Buddha, identified with ultimate reality, emptiness, and the Dharma itself. Sambhogakaya, the body of enjoyment. This is celestial and radiant body that the Buddha manifests in pure lands or realms, experienced by advanced bodhisattva. Nirmankaya, the body of transformation. This is the entire body that the Buddha manifests in the world, like the historical Buddha Sakyamuni, to guide being towards the enlightenment. Thus, the concept of Trikaya described in the Buddhist multifaceted nature as both transcendent and immanent, enabling his manifestation in various forms. We see how the Mahasangikas paved the way for the deification of earthly Buddha, earthly historical Siddhartha Gautam, the Buddha, and making of his image, as well as sown the seed of Mahayana system of Buddhism. It is a matter of debate that the image of Buddha got birth whether at Mathura or Gandhar, but it was the land of Magadh where it was conceived. Two of the major Mahaviharas, rather Buddhist universities, Nalanda and Udantapuri, lied in Magadh, which were instrumental in development of the facets of Buddhism and its philosophy. Thus, the land of Magadh was a laboratory of Buddhism, which directed and shaped the dynamics of Buddhism. Buddhism, being an institutional religion or faith, it fell to decay after destruction of universities of Nalanda, Udantapuri, Vikramshila, and other Buddhist institutions, which were giving direction to the faith. After fall of the institutions, the Buddhism became a rudderless boat and ultimately sank. Then we see how Magadh was instrumental in giving birth to the Buddha, I mean the enlightened one, the Buddhism, and it is the land of Magadh which shaped the course of Buddhism. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mahajan. Our next speaker is Li Juan Zhuang. Um, we are running short of time, so ma'am, you have 10 minutes to deliver your lecture. So keep to the time. 10 minutes.
Okay. Full slide, can I do? It's okay?
The theme of our presentation is Desire, Body and Liberation, Female Images in the Agamas.
Namaste. My name is Li Zhuang. I study religious at National Zhenzi University. I'm glad to attend this meeting. So my target is desire, body, and liberation. Female imagery in agamas. Yes, first of all, that is my topic is introduction. Introduction is we study explore how the agamas depict the female body and desire, explaining their embodied religious meaning and implication for Buddhist doctrine, liberation practice, and historical development. By analyzing selected texts from three perspectives: desire, the body, and the liberation. Thus, the research aims to uncover how female imagery is constructed and what role is played theologically and historiologically. Through textual analysis, comparative methods, and historical inquiry, the study shed light on complex early Buddhist attitudes toward women and offered fresh insight for both gender studies and contemporary Buddhist scholarship. My research objective: how do the agamas construct female imagery? 2. What is the religious significance of linking women with desire and body? 3. How do these depictions impact Buddhist liberation practice? My theologically from textual analysis, historical context, comparative study. My co-tension in agamas: two perspectives. One, negative, women a symbol of desire. Positive, women as liberated practitioners. Negative, how to receive negative. In Buddhist scripture, descriptions of women often associate them with desire and the physical body, portraying them as embodiment of passion, that abstract spiritual practice. Women are depicted as symbol of desire, figures that practitioners should be wary of and distance themselves from. For example, in Agatagama Sutra, say, desire is named as the wrong path, life change day and night. Women are the impurity of holy paths. They are the burden of the world. Positive, women as liberated practitioners. While Buddhist teachings sometimes associate women with desire and the physical body, such portrayals should be interpreted through multiple lenses, as they form part of a broader religious narrative. The Agama, however, also affirmed women's spiritual potential and autonomy. For example, Sayukagama Sutra recounted the story of Vasita, a Brahmini woman who, along with her husband, take refuge in the Buddha, highlighting women's role in wisdom of faith. Second, the path of equal liberation. Analyze historical context. We can see ancient Indian patriarchal gender norms with Buddha's radical equality. Body as symbol. How can we see the body as a symbol? We can, from body is impairment, impurity, yet a medium for practice. Female body is dual role, tension, there's a vessel for liberation. That is very important, just my opinion said. Okay. Next, desire are multi-layered. From liberation's word to meld monastic about attachment. Symbolic desire is klesa, attachment, aversion, ignorance. Maybe we can from three attitudes toward women. Interpretation of Agama Sutra reveal various perspectives on women, from a formulation of a spiritual equality of reflection of a patriarchal. She then identifies three categories: liberation-based gender equality, institutional male dominance, and misogynistic views on female practice. While texts like singularity code affirm women's enlightenment potential, such as age reference rule and hierarchical monastic code, reflect social cultural influence. Institutional change. Age reverence rule, gender hierarchy in the monastic code. Power dynastic. Male dominate scriptural interpretation. Pedagogical intent. Audience spaces teaching. For male domestic, female front as a contemplation tool. Female body, dual role. Temptation samyaki gamma with vessel for liberation. That is a very important part, so I must detail say that. Meditation implication, reputations need, contextually misogynistic passage historical. Some Buddhist spiritual were influenced by the historical and cultural context. Exhibiting misogynistic tendency. Modern scholars argue that this text should be understood symbolically, rather than being interpreted solely as the regularity around women. Buddhist feminists reclaiming equality in code doctrine. Buddhist feminists avoid that gender equality with Buddhism's code doctrine. Buddhist feminism seek to restore its recognition of women's spiritual potential and changes historical bias and have short traditional interpretation and promote monastic reform, ensuring that women receive the same respect, opportunities, and the support of spiritual practice as men. This is very, I take the conclusion that early Buddhism changes the tensions of patriarchal. Two, desire body narrative served pedagogical and symbolic rule. Three, female imagery in the agamas reflects social and cultural tension. That is my presentation. Thanks you are listening.
Thank you for the presentation, ma'am. Our next presenter is Wen Tien Hung Shi, and the topic of her presentation is Panchvarshika and the Kumbh Mela, an examination of their interrelation.
Hello. Hello. Okay. Okay. See. Okay. Good. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tian Hongxu. I come from a Department of Religion National Jeju University. Today's my presentation will explore about the interrelation between the Panchavasika and the Kumbh Mela. First, I will examine the Panchavasika and the Asoka, exploring how Asoka demonstrated his commitment to Buddhist value through acts of almsgiving and generosity toward others during the Panchavasika and Panchavasika festival. Second, I will analyze the Xuanzang's record, especially dive into the historical overview of the King Hasa festivals. Finally, I will conduct the comparative analysis of the Panchavasika and the Kumbh Mela. The Panchavasika, this word, it means 5-year assembly. First, I learned the word Panchavasika originates from the legend of King Asoka, where the narrative involves a king's intensive act of the almsgiving and the generosity until he possessed nothing. And then the festival patronage also revealed the close connection between royal authority and the religious practice in Asian society. Interpretation and legacy. Interpretation challenges demand as scholar debates the festival precise means and its impact on Asoka legacy and the broader cultural significance. Yeah. Second, I will show you about the Xuanzang's record. Xuanzang's record is especially in the King Hasa's festival. King Hasa's festival was characterized by the distribution of variable items to both monks and the general populace, demonstrating a profound sense of community and generosity. We can see the ceremonial location is near Payaga, and the actory also including the generosity in offering. I think it's how King Hasa commitment to Buddhism, and it's also means the cultural impact of the celebration and the historical significance of the event. See, we can see the. Now I show you the Prayaga. It's nearby Alaba. Next, we explore the location of the Kumbh Mela. Also, too, is held on the bank of the Ganges River. And the location is including 4 key cities: Haridwar, Ujjain, Nasik, and Alaba. 4 cities. I think it's very similar. And that's the century point. Model Day Grand Assembly occurring every 12 years. As Kumbh Mela, so many people. Then I show you exploring the historical root of Kumbh. its cultural origin, Kumbh Mela stems from the curtain at the ocean of milk, and it means the spiritual significance. Festival emphasizes purification and spiritual liberation. And Mother Day is a modern organization must increase participation. Okay, see, every 12 years is over 100 million participants. A lot of people join that activity, and that's including grand celebration like this. Wow. In this event, including a lot of activity. For example, like sacred bath and prayer and Sanskrit chasa. It means the Dharma debate and the parade, also including arms. It's very huge. Okay. This event also including different religious groups come together. So, exploring the participation and the demographic of Kumbh Mela. It spent 100 million participants, and it occurs across 4 key cities. Now I see it means the facilitates cultural exchange among diverse traditions and significant regions diversity at the festival. Ritual practice and symbolism in Kumbh Mela have 4 points. First, ceremony immersion in sacred river. Second, mass feeding and education activities. Third, the religious teachings on purging. And fourth, cultural interrelations with Panchavasika. Let's comparative analyze the Panchavasika and the Kumbh Mela. The Panchavasika occurs every 5 years, and the Kumbh Mela is occurring every 12 years. And the location is very similar. Also, both sides in the Ganges and the same place. Then I think the Panchavasika and the Kumbh Mela also include different religious groups together. But the Panchavasika is focused on Buddhism, and the Kumbh Mela is more focused on Hinduism. It's very very similar. And finally, I want to talk about in my presentation is about the Kumbh Mela and the Panchavasika have very similar, and they have the historic continuities. The enduring legacy of Kumbh Mela and the cultural significance of gathering, foundation for future research and evolution of religious event. Also, finally, it's very important of historical context. And that's my today's presentation. That's all. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Our next speaker is Ben Faheshi, and the topic of a presentation is a study on the translation, usages, and meaning of Sarvagya, Sarvagya Gyan, and Sarvatha Gyan in Chinese translated classics. Ma'am, you have 10 minutes to give your presentation. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, first of all, I want to introduce myself first. I'm Malaysian and came from the Taiwan Chinese University and the fourth a year of PhD students in religious studies. First of all, welcome everyone. Today I will be presenting my research on the translation and meanings of the Sanskrit term savajñā, and Savatajñāna, particularly in Chinese translation of Buddhist classics. The translation of key Buddhist terms from Sanskrit into Chinese has historically shaped the understanding of Buddhist doctrines. Terms, just the three terms listed here, okay, related to wisdom, okay, savajñā. Okay, savajñā and savatajñāna exhibit significant variations across translation, especially Kumarajiva and Shanzang's translations. Scholars and practitioners often face challenges due to these inconsistent interpretations. This research addresses critical questions. The first of all, one, what terms precisely describe the Buddha's perfect wisdom? Two, why do the usage of this term change significantly across different Buddhist traditions and sutras? Okay. For our knowledge, we know the history of Buddhism, starts from the early Buddhism, particularly within the Agama collection. The term savajñā denotes specific characteristic. Just four characteristics. Number one, prophecy. Foretell, future. Clearly differentiates the Buddha from his disciple. Both Shravaka and other enlightened beings such as Pratya, Ekar, Buddha. Two, knowledge of suffering. Especially for the Four Noble Truths, the Buddha fully understands the origins, cessation, and purpose of suffering, presenting exclusive insights that forms the foundation of his teaching. Third, complete detachment, free from desire, attachments, emotional entanglements, signifying supreme spiritual achievement of the Shakyamuni Buddha. The last but not least, universal knowledge. In the layman sense, by the word omniscient, Shakyamuni Buddha is portrayed as omniscient regarding all phenomena across the three times, the past, present, and future, establishing a fundamental differentiation from other beings' knowledge. So, across the history of Buddhism, we see in Abhidhamma, sometimes our heart's wisdom, sometimes Buddha's supreme wisdom, all our heart wisdom have 10 wisdom. The Four Noble Truths, Dukkha, Samudaya, Nirodha, Marga, Prajna, no other minds, says, and Ajadi Jana. Ajadi means birthless, Pusham Zi. Here, Savajñā refers more broadly to the general ability of understanding Dharma comprehensively, rather than solely signifying Buddhahood. Thus, Savajñā evolved into a descriptive term reflecting knowledge comprehensiveness rather than a proper noun limited to the Buddha. Next, we compare analysis of Kumarajiva and Shanzang's translation. The earlier 344 to 413 century Common Era, Kumarajiva compared with Shanzang is more earlier translation, uses the term Savatajñāna, which means comprehensive universal wisdom. No explicit use of Savajñāna, indicates translation terminology phase. Let's see, the Shanzang's translation used Savajñāna. After 200 years more, 602 to 664 Common Era, with the Tang Dynasty translation, Shanzang frequent and clear usage of Savajñāna. This distinguish Buddha's wisdom from Shalavarka and Pradika Buddhas, which just now we distinguish Buddha's wisdom is different from the Shalavarka, his disciple, and other enlightened beings such as Pradika Buddha. Okay. This reflects evolved Mahayana emphasis on spiritual hierarchy. Importance of clarifying terms. Okay. It shows with translating Transavajna as general omniscient. Okay. Some of the use term using by Christianity. Okay. Omniscience. Okay. Clear distinction vital for doctrinal accuracy and practice. Facilitates precise scholar and interpretation and practitioners' enlightenment journey. Last but not least, as conclusion. Okay. This study has clarified the historical evolution starting from the earlier Buddhism, Agama, okay, and then Abhidhamma Sutra, Sastra by the Shavastin, and the Mahayana, earlier Mahayana Prajna Paramita translation by the two eminent translators Kumarajiva and Shanzang. Okay. Early Buddhism's clear and exclusive use of Savajna contrasts significantly with later developments, demonstrating Buddhism's doctrinal fluidity and translation diversity by highlighting translators. Okay, these two translators, Chinese translators' contribution to research underscores translation's role in shaping Buddhism's thoughts and practice. Okay. The scholarly and practical importance of clarifying these terms cannot be overstated while providing critical insights for future academic research and guiding practitioners toward deeper and more nuanced understanding of Buddhism, Buddhist wisdom. Thanks.
예. 야, 不会啦。哦，电话帮你关。
小豆，先帮我把它打开。OK， 把它按全，这里应该不能播放这个，大一点。Thank you. Namaste. My name is Jianan Chen Jianan. This paper is a Dr. Ambedkar anti-caste soul and democratic vision. India's history is rich with reformers. Among them, Dr. Ambedkar stands out as a legendary activity, but his role as a critical. But his role as a rebel within mainstream society may contribute to this neglect. So, this paper analyzes key writing and speech from. Okay. 1936 to 1956. Vision of the democracy denied by caste. Ambedkar devoted his life to building a society based on liberty, equality, and fraternity. The meaning of a society. Please see the yellow walls. The yellow was Ambedkar's speeches. Ambedkar said, men constitute a society because they have the same which they possess in common. Society is defined by shared communication. But the reality of an Indian society, he said, an Indian cannot eat our marry with another Indian, cannot touch another Indian because of caste. Ideal society. Ambedkar point out, democracy is not merely a form of government. Core principles, liberty, equality, and fraternity. Ambedkar suggests social reform before political reform. He said, you cannot have a political reform unless you kill this caste. The concept of democracy. Ambedkar said, a form and a method of a government whereby revolution, change in economic and the social life of the people are bring about without broad ahimsa. Key insight, democracy root lie in social relationships. Conditions for the success democracy, the 7 core conditions. Please see later. Ambedkar said, if there is no more order, democracy will go to pieces. Ambedkar point out, democracy is not a form of government. It's a form of a society. Political democracy cannot survive without social democracy. Parliamentary democracy. Ambedkar said, a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. The political parties, one party rule, as sealed to democracy, 2 party equal safe. Nature, right, and the law. Okay. Nation and nationalism. Cast as anti-national. Without social union, political unity is fragile. He tells all Indians, we are all Indians. We are Indians first and India last. Okay, conclusion. Democracy is not a political arrangement. It's a more revolution. Men are mortal, so are idea, and idea needs propagation as much as plant needs watering. That is wish of every master. Buddha wished, Ambedkar wished. Thank you.
Thank you. With that, we come to the end of the session. And all the presentations in the session were very interesting. The themes were really good. So I now open the house for discussion. So if you have any queries, comments, questions, you can direct it to the speakers. So whatever questions you have, you can get it clarified. You can raise your hands and we will bring the mic to you.
सर महाजन साहब से, तो महाजन साहब के स्पीच में आया था भगवान बुद्ध जो 45 जो वर्षावास, अभी तो खैर वर्षावास समय चल भी रहा है जो आषाढ़ पूर्णिमा से आश्विन पूर्णिमा तक चलेगा। तो हम लोग पाली टेक्स्ट में पढ़ते हैं 45 वर्षावास हमारे यहाँ है सर। देखिए आपका सोर्स अलग है, हमारा प्योर पाली टेक्स्ट है सोर्स। फिर बात जो मेरा जो सोर्स है उस पर हम बात कर रहे हैं। और हमारे यहाँ जो हिस्सा है कि 45 वर्षावास है, 45 चूंकि वो तो काउंटेबल है सर। 29 वर्ष में भगवान बुद्ध जब गृह त्याग किए, 6 वर्ष तपस्या किया और 45 साल को 45 वर्षा। पहला वर्षावास आपका सारनाथ में जो इसी पतन मृगदाव जो बोले कौर्णी रसुजित भद्य महानाम का जो चर्चा जो आपने किया, तो पहला वर्षावास वहां हुआ। दूसरा, तीसरा, चौथा और 11 और 17 और 20 6 वर्षावास राजगिरी की चर्चा हमारे यहाँ मिलती है सर। और 21 से लेकर 45 तक श्रावस्ती में। आप 8 बताए, आपका सोर्स जो भी रहा होगा गलत नहीं है। जो भी देखिए हम जो बोल रहे हैं वो विनय पिटक का जो सोर्स है उसके अनुसार बोल रहे हैं सर। ये आपने तपसु भल्ली की चर्चा, आप तपसु भल्ली की चर्चा की, ठीक है, अच्छी बात है कि छठा सप्ताह में उत्कल के व्यापारी थे जो पाटलिपुत्रा जा रहे थे व्यापारिक के समय, जो रेशम मार्ग थे। और सातवां सप्ताह जो राजा थे रुख मूले बताए, राजा थे रुख बीच के नीचे बताया था। तो महाकश्यप, उर्मिला कश्यप, नदी कश्यप, क्या कश्यप, यह चर्चा किए। आदित्य पर्याय सूत्र की आपने चर्चा किया। आदित्य पर्याय सूत्र के साथ वह जो ब्रह्मजोड़ी पर्वत है उसमें ज्ञा सूत्र का उद्देश्य भी दिया गया है। 3 सूत्र का वहां उद्देश्य दिया गया है सर। बाकी आप 8 अब बताए, हम 6 बोल रहे हैं। हम 45 सोर्स से बता रहे हैं, आप अपना
ठीक है, चालू हो गया। मेरा भी जो स्रोत है वो पाली ही है। जब मैं पटना पर काम कर रहा था तो सेकेंड बुक ऑफ द ईस्ट सीरीज का ट्रांसलेशन हमने देखा। मैंने पटना पर काम कर रहा था तो मिलिंद पन्हो, क्वेश्चंस ऑफ मिलिंद के नाम से वो प्रकाशित है। वो 200 पेज के 2 वॉल्यूम में पूरा समेट दिया था। जब पढ़ने लगा अंग्रेजी अनुवाद तो बीच में बहुत सारे मिसिंग लिंक्स मिल रहे थे, तो मैंने पाली सीखा और मिलिंद पन्हो मैंने ओरिजिनल पढ़ा। इसलिए पाली थोड़ी बहुत बोल नहीं सकता हूं, लेकिन लिखा हुआ पढ़ के मैं समझ लूंगा क्या लिखा हुआ। हाँ, तो उसकी तो बाकायदा पूरी सूची है। जो भी उन्होंने वर्षावास किया वो महावग्ग के अंदर में उनकी सूची है। तो आपने कितना बताया? 45 मगध में किया उन्होंने।
जो आप बोले कि मगध में 8 हुआ।
हाँ।
बता रहा है मगध में 6।
ठीक हो सकता है आपका 6 और 8 मेरा है। उसमें 2 नाम ऐसा है जो क्लियर नहीं है कि वो मगध में है कि कहाँ है, लेकिन जब पूरे एपिसोड को मैंने पढ़ा वहां महावग्ग के अंदर में, तो मैं कहता है कि वो 2 भी मगध के ही क्षेत्र हैं।
मंकुल पर्वत विवाद है वो, ठीक है, मान लीजिए।
इसी क्योंकि मैं पूरे किताब को मैं आज शुरू से लेकर अंत तक एक वर्ड को पढ़ता हूँ, इसलिए 2 जो विवाद है उसको मैं मगध में ही रखता हूँ। इसी वजह से मैं 8 कह रहा हूँ। ठीक है,
नहीं ठीक है सर। वो प्रश्न तो 155 बीसी का वो तो
नहीं, मैं पाली के संदर्भ में मैंने मिलिंद पन्नो को कहा। मैं महावग्ग को, मैंने महावग्ग, चूलवग्ग, खंदक तीनों मैंने पढ़ा है। और दूसरा आपने कहा था तपस्सु और भल्लिक। हाँ, तपस्सु और भल्लिक 2 व्यापारी थे उत्कल देश के। हाँ, वो रास्ते पर थे, पाटलिपुत्र जा रहे थे। और ये मगध हमारा कभी सिल्क रूट पर नहीं था, ठीक है। हाँ, और फिर क्या आपने कहा था? आदित्य पर्याय सूत्र, ये जो मंगला गौरी हिल है वही भस्मकूट हिल है, वहीं पर भस्मी एसेटिक्स रहते थे। गयासीस अलग पर्वत है, नहीं नहीं गयासीस अलग है, मैं उस पर कभी बात करूंगा अलग से। तो और कुछ बच गया? गयासुत तो ब्रह्मयोनि पर वो गए नहीं है, गयासुत उन्होंने गया कश्यप को ऑर्डेन करने के लिए उन्होंने गयासुत का पाठ किया था, वो समथिंग अराउंड द फल्गु रिवर। हाँ,
Okay.
और कुछ?
Any more questions with the rest of our presenters? और क्वेश्चन क्या करेंगे?
सर मैं जानना चाहूंगा कि मगध में भगवान बुद्ध 8 वर्षावास कहाँ कहाँ किए हैं सर?
Okay. I think this session is very.
Since we are running short of time, I would like to request our chair for the session, Professor Pochi Huang, to kindly give a concluding remark and
Yes.
end the session.
कभी बाद में आपके प्रश्न का मैं जवाब दे दूंगा।
So this session is very interesting. We have okay. We have a scholar from Magadh University and the PhD student from universities in Taiwan, and you can see this is really a sort of multicultural approach to Buddhism, and I find it's very, very stimulating and fascinating. So I hope in the future this kind of dialogue between different perspectives of Buddhism can be continued either in India or in Taiwan. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I thank all the presenters of the session. Now I invite Dr. Chandra Prakash to, I request Dr. Chandra Prakash to kindly come on stage and take over for the next session. Thank you. Sorry, sir. Thank you. Thank you. That's all your time. Thank you. लिख दे।
Okay, now we will proceed to the last session, third session. And we are running short of time, so there is no sufficient time for tea break. So this session will be chaired by Professor Dr. Sanjay Kumar, Head of Pali Department. And distinguished speakers will be Wen Chang Xing and Dr. Kai Wen Cheng, and of course Mr. Sankar Sharma.
So, three speakers will present their papers in this third session. And within a very short time, we will start this last session. And after that, we will proceed to close this ceremony. Okay. So now I would like to invite to Dr. Kai Wencheng to come on dais, please. And Venerable Chan Jing, please come on dais for this session. Venerable Chan Jing, please kindly come on dais. Yeah. Okay, the chair of this session will come. Now, I would like to request, first of all, for this session, Venerable Chan Jing to present, yes, to present his papers, please. Whatever he needs supports, please support him. Whoever has come with him. You will present. Okay. Okay, now, so now tea break is going on. So, just wait for a moment, and after that, we will start this session.
Please wait. Please wait.
Yes. Okay, just take a cup of tea, and after 5 minutes, we will start this session. Thank you. Okay, now we proceed to the next last session, the third session. And for this session will be chaired by Dr. Sanjay Kumar, Head of Department, Pali Department. So I would like to request Dr. Sanjay Kumar, sir, to come on dais to chair this session. And speakers for this session, I request to come on dais Venerable Chan Zing. Venerable Chan Zing, please come on dais. Yeah. And Dr. Kai Wen Cheng, please come on dais for this session and take your seat.
मुझे लग रहा है कि ये 3 पेपर और छूटे हुए हैं।
नहीं, ये छोड़ दिया गया। ये जो है नीचे का,
ये तीनों पेपर छूटे हुए हैं।
Venerable Chan Zing, please come on dais for third session.
ये तीनों लोग एब्सेंट हैं। ये देखिए, ये तीनों लोग का पेपर नहीं हुआ। ये टॉक एडिक्ट का। हाँ? चलो था।
Okay, we have invited three speakers more for this session. First, Yu Lin, Yun Zupai, and Shao Wan Lai. Okay. So, welcome for this session, all of you, all the dignitaries on the dais, and first of all, I would like to request Ryu Lin. Yeah, Ryu Lin to deliver his paper, and topic is a preliminary study of Asoka's rock edicts, a case study of the Holy Rock Edict. And you will have 10 minutes to deliver your presentation. Thank you.
Okay, namaste to everyone. My name is Yu Lin. I'm from the Huafan University of Taiwan. I would like to present my topic, my paper, a preliminary study of Ashoka's the rock edicts, a case study of the Dori rock edicts. It's my the table of the contents. Abstract. This paper offers a preliminary exploration of the history background and the ideological significance of Ashika's rock edicts, with a particular focus on the Dodi rock edicts in Odisha, India. Empire of Ashika of the Maurya dynasty, after the devastating Kalinka War, adopted a governance model centered on the Buddhism principle and used the rock and the palace edicts to propagate his Dharma policy throughout the empire. The Dodi rock edicts, due to his distinct geography, location, and the unique content, serve as the key history source for the understanding the transformation of Ashika's politician ideology. This study employs archaeological, linguistic, and Buddhist philosophy approach to interpret the edict and to illustrate the fusion of a politician, messenger, and the religious doctrine. Its instruction, you can see the picture, is our professor Dr. Huang take a student about 20 go to last summer we went to the Odisha. The tour guide is the best one is the Mr. Shidado. He always stand there. Then another one, blue wears the shirt. Is the Odisha local tour guides. Is also very excellent. Show us about the Odisha. 看到这个不行了。Hello。看到down。Okay. This one? This one. Okay. So that's why we visit Odisha. That is really touch my heart, especially the Dodi rock. So that's why I write this paper. So this paper focuses on the Dodi inscription, content, linguistic feature, and intelligent background, situated within the broader context of the Ashika Edic group, and exploring his history significance through comparative analysis. The background of the Buddhism policy and Ashika. Ashika was born around 304 BCE and died in the 232 BCE. He tied himself. Divana Pia. Pia the Daisy. The meaning is beloved of the gods. He who looks on with affection. And he continued to the Maurya dynasty, but he always liked the champion. So has the Kalinka War. He watched the so bloody and suffering from the Kalinka War. So he affected Ashika, leading him to embrace to Buddhism and adopt a policy of the Dharma-based governance. This transformation inspired him to promote moral and ethical principles across his empire, emphasize non-violence, ahimsa, religious tolerance, and social welfare. Now I will introduce the type, geographic distribution, and the contents of the rock edicts. The type of the rock edicts manifest to the two kinds, major and minor, and has 14 major rock edicts. Then location of the over India, Nepal, Pakistan, and the central on the north, central, and east. The linguist feature, the Brahmin inscription, Kamasti inscription, Magadh, Sanskrit, and Aramaic, and Greek. And okay. So now is introduce the Dodi rock edicts. We take the photo, so we can see about the Dolly Rock. The contents of the Dolly Rock edits, we can see it has is located on the Dolly Hills of in Odisha. Then has the relief of the elephant head face toward, symbolize Ashika's determination to turn to peace and Buddhism after the Kalinka War, including major edicts number 1 to 10 and number 14, as well as 2 special edicts called Kalinka Edicts 1 and 2, declares the empires the benevolence and the repentance to the local residents, reflect Ashika's political and spiritual transformation following the Kalinka. Is the based on the non-violence, tolerance, compassion, and compassion. And the following the point is the repentance and the peace and good governance, religions, tolerance. Is from the journal IJFMR is the introduced about the ethics that you can see Dolly local in Odisha, and there has rock ethic number 1 to 10 and 14 ethics. There is the picture is taken by I take the picture. It's really touched my heart. Even I cannot understand what he's writing, because but I really touched my heart. So that's why I come back. I to read the books and the reference. Then linguistic feature is the including in the has the many kinds of the language. The Brahmi is the Brahmi is focused on the Brahmi scripture, and you can see the scripture and the language. Actually, he experienced religion variation, reflecting the cultural and the linguistic influence of the respective location. Okay, and it's a medium for Ashika to initiate direct dialogue with his subject, present himself as a proponent of the Dharma and as a ruler beloved by the gods. It's the picture. The intelligent background of the Dolly Rock edicts is the description promoted the elephant relief, symbolized awake and non-violence. It's from the after the Kalinka War. Yes, and it presents Ashika's character, his understanding of Dharma, and his aspiration as a ruler. And some of the the edits displays the unique feature, and do not adjust the doctrine as a concept of the nirvanas or the noble edit test. But you can see, Ashika's edits do not propagate the Buddhist document. Instead, they articulate a secular ethic framework, reflects his pragmatic approach to governance through Dharma. Okay, so here's another the scholars say, Ashika's edicts embody timeless value that change the history and cultural boundary. And here's Ashika's edicts first the culture of the mutual respect and social harmony, reflecting Ashika's commitment to religions, tolerance, and ethical leadership. Release of the moral value in the building just societies, and ethical leadership grounded in the social consciousness and moral responsibility, with his edicts standing as an enduring teaching for the pursuit of the justice and the equality. The conclusion. Through the analysis of the Dolly Rock edicts, this study highlights Ashika's post-Kalinka War, transmitted from military consequence to a political philosophy central on the non-violence and compassion. The Dolly Rock edicts transmit changed his role as the political document, serving as a significant record of religious instruction and the social ethics. Its language and literature enlarged the cultural and linguistic diversity of the period, highlighting the Maria administration's capacity to govern a multi-ethnic empire with wisdom and inclusivity. Reference. So thank you very much. It's our pleasure to visit Odisha. Thank you. That's all.
Thank you, ma'am. You have done very well case study of Dolly Rod Edict and observed some Buddhist policy through this edict and delivered about the intellectual background of the Dolly Rock Edict. Thank you. And now I would request to present the paper Yunju Pai on natural space as site of a spiritual transformation, liberation, and awakening in all we imagine as light.
Excuse me, yes, previous one.
Yes, PowerPoint merge.
No, that's the previous one.
Oh,
It's not mine.
okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Which one?
This one, 8. So how to exchange the slide?
Yeah. Now this is in PowerPoint mode. You have to
And
click
this one.
this.
Oh, okay, thanks. Oh, sorry. And dear professor and the guest, namaste. My name is Pai Yunru. Today I'll be discussing about how the film Always Imagine as Life uses natural imagery to highlight women's awakening and the liberation. Now, let's move to the introduction. The development of Indian cinema is far from diverse than the, sorry. 可是我看不见了，我看不清楚。sorry. Diverse, okay. Diverse than the popular label Bollywood suggested. Since India's independence in 1947, cinema has gradually transformed into a reflective cultural medium, engaged in with the issues of social structure, individual subjectivity, and cultural transformation. In the 1950s, Satyajit Ray's Pesa Panchali introduced India cinema to the world through a realist and humanistic lens. In later decades, religious epics such as the Mahabharata and the Ramayana becomes integral to visual culture, embedding myths into everyday storytelling. After the economical liberalization of the 1990s, films like Meera Nair's and Amir Khan's, their film began to transcend regional and stylistic boundaries, exploring gender lure, family dynamics, and diasporic identity. Within the evolving cinematic landscape, always imagine as like 2024 emerging as a contemplative yet socially grounded film. Although director Peya doesn't explicitly reference Buddhist philosophy, the film recipient of the Ken Jury Prize evoked the core Buddhist theme: impermanence, stillness, and the awakening through relational presence. This connection may arise from the viewer's interpretation, yet they reveal cinema's unique potential, not to explain philosophy, but to make it felt through visual rhythm, ambient sound, and the emotional nuance. Now we take a close look at the character of the film. Prabha is a senior nurse, is emotional distance from her husband in an arranged marriage. While he was been living in Germany for years, she finds herself torn between duty and the gentle attention of a kind doctor. Anu, a younger nurse, shared a quite forbidden love with a Muslim man, a bond constrained by social and religious boundary, yet sustained by quiet courage. And Parvati she's a widowed caregiver, has long been denied equitable housing. So eventually she is forced to leave the city and return to her Nula birthplace. This film portrays the life journey of women who are marginalized both emotionally and socially. As they travel together to Parvati's village and engage in quiet, intimate encounter with nature, they gradually embark on a subtle yet profound inner transportation. It's a journey of contemplation and liberation. In Buddhist thought, all phenomena arise from the mind and are shaped by karma. True liberation is not found externally, but through directly insight into the nature of our consciousness. The film structure subtle mirror the Four Noble Truths, guiding viewers from suffering toward awakening, not through theory, but make us to think. They are invite us to feel, not to think. So now let's take a look at the film's opening and the central motive. The film opened in Mumbai's nightscape, dense with labor, migration, and displacement. In the humid dark, migrants' voice speak of struggle and longing. In Buddhism terms, this reflects the first noble truth, dukkha. And the water, for example, like rain, best water, or tears, become a symbol of emotional entrapment. The interior reflects a clouded state of mind. As the story unfolds, characters begin confronting the root of their suffering, repression, marginalization, unfulfilled longing. This aligns with the second noble truth, samudaya, rooted in craving and ignorance. Mumbai itself becomes a site of inner and outer dissonance. But the story moved into forest, the river, and the sea. A quiet transformation began, shifting from the suffering to spiritual release. Natural light now replaced the artificial growth, hinting at awakening. Water suggests emotional cleansing, echoing the idea of drama rain. This special shift aligns with the third and the fourth noble truths, Naruda and Magadh. Liberation is an escape. It arises from presence, awareness, and relational care. So now let's shift our focus to the Buddha's connection with the nature. Nature was never just a scenery in the Buddha's life. It was central. He was born in the Lumbini Grove, attained enlightenment under the Bodhi tree in Buddhagaya, and taught in forests like Rama and Jatavana and virtual peaks. This space supports practice and embodies Dharma. In early Buddhism, nature was part of the teaching itself. For example, in the virtual peak is said to be where the Lotus Sutra was taught, including the famous parable of the medicinal herb, which compared the Dharma to rain that nourish all beings equally. So here, nature isn't just a scenery, it becomes a living space for transformation. Even the Buddha final passing under the twin sala tree wasn't random. It symbolized a return to the simplicity, to nature, and to the truth of impermanence. Now take the two symbolic landscape I want to highlight. One is the forest. In India traditional, the forest symbolizes spiritual withdrawal, typically reserved for male, renunciant in the Vanaprastha stage. But here's the journey of these women into nature echoes that retreat without ritual, but with quiet introspection. The film refrains India's soteriologies, centering women's embodied path to liberation. Then the other thing is the sea. In Yogacara Buddhism, Alaya Vijnana store karmic sea, which are reinforced by mental activity. With mindful awareness, the storehouse consciousness can be transformed. In the film, Prabhupada's emotion detachment reflects karmic trace. When she rescued a drowning stranger who symbolized her absent husband, long repressed the lonely surface, her decision not to live with him became a symbolic purification, echoes by the flowing sea. It's a visual metaphor for impermanence and the karmic dissolution. So let me conclude. This film is more than a poetic narrative. It enacts Buddhist insight through meditative rhythm and the spacious imagery. Impermanence, longing, and the release and the not explained, but embodied as the film leads us from urban confinement to nature openness. Nature is not an escape, but a living mandala where from and emptiness arise together. Through silence and the slowness, the film invited not just the reflection but transformation. Here, cinema becomes more than a media, it becomes a path, a space where teaching are not told but felt, not spoken but awakened. All we imagine as light doesn't merely represent awakening, it quietly participates in it. So thank you all for your attention. May your path always be bright. Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you, ma'am. You have explained the Buddhist philosophy in different aspects and in different ways. Thank you. Now I request Shawan Lai to deliver his. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. So now I request Venerable Chan Singh to present his presentation on cultural interpretation and practical transformation of the Emperor Liang's precious repentance and modern funeral rituals. Thank you.
老师、各位来宾、各位同学，大家好，我是施三新我来自台湾华梵大学。我今天要报告的题目是梁皇宝忏的文化视读与实践转化，以现代丧葬仪式为中心的传统与现代对话，基于忏悔思想的视角。梁皇宝忏作为中国佛教宗族影响最深远的忏悔仪轨之一，自南朝梁武帝时期流传至今，不仅构成了传统佛教法事的核心内容，更与现代丧葬仪式的精神需求形成深刻的对话。本文通过文献梳理与理论的分析，首先考察梁皇宝忏的源流、文本结构及其因果的忏悔伦理。其次，从宗教学的视角出发，探讨现代丧葬仪式中传统元素现代转化现象，包括仪程的简化、环保理念的融入及个性化的需求，最后提出文化记忆的激活。这样的理论框架揭示了梁皇宝忏为现代化需求的回应，最后提出忏悔文化通过仪式符号的创造性，成为年底生死、家庭伦理的忏悔表征。
Hello everyone, I'll be translating. Namaste everyone, I am Chanxin Shi from Huafan University, Taiwan. This is my presentation. So I'll be introduction first. These are the agenda, the research focus, explore the origins, structure, and ethical concepts of Emperor Liang's precious repentance, analyze its transformation and relevance in contemporary funeral practices. My methodology, literature review, classical texts and ritual manuals, theatrical analysis, ethics of penance, cause of acts, cultural memory, social of religion, ritual modernization and individualization. Key findings, ritual simplification and eco-conscious adaptation, integration of personal spiritual needs, activation of cultural memory as a bridge between tradition and modernity. Theoretical contribution, cultural memory activation, ritual as a medium linking life and death, family ethics, spiritual consolation, and there will be conclusion. Emperor Liang's precious repentance is not only a core Buddhist ritual, but also a living cultural practice responding to the dual needs of spiritual care and cultural inheritance in modern society.
梁皇宝忏相传是从梁武帝为了他的皇后西氏而汇集的，是由宝智禅师汇集了《涅盘经》《法华经》《华严经》等要义，合成了10卷40品的经文，以转业消障、忏悔救度为核心的概念，赋予该忏法的利忧济显这样的独特地位。
Okay, so there is two important points here. So first is the origin and religious connotation of the confession, and then the second is textual structure and confession system. So let's see the first point. The Emperor Liang's precious repentance originated from Emperor Wu's effort to save Empress C, integrating Buddhist sutras into a 10-volume ritual text. Though mythology, it reflects core doctrines of karma and repentance. Scholars debate its origins. Some link it to state Buddhism, others view it as a folk compilation, revealing its dual nature as both formal ritual and popular belief. The second point is textual structure and confession system. The 10-volume structure of Emperor Liang's precious repentance follows a clear patiential logic, from conversion and confession to karmic reconciliation and universal vows, embodying Buddhist spiritual healing. Recent studies explore its musical, ethical, and cultural dimensions, yet lack focus on its modern social relevance and symbolic translation. This paper addresses these gaps through the tenets of ritual adaptation in contemporary funerals.
当代对梁皇宝忏的研究呈现多元的路径。学者邱玉清从音乐人类学的角度来分析忏法有泛伴跟仪器的不同，指出仪式音乐对群体心灵起到了抚慰的功能。黄佩威聚焦在佛教临终一念的观念，强调忏悔实践在现代的丧葬关怀中降服烦恼的价值。陈嘉诚的研究更上升到佛教中国化的理论层面，认为梁皇宝忏将印度佛教的忏悔传统与中国儒家的反省文化相融合，形成独特的忏悔伦理体系。这些研究在本课题提供了重要的基础，但是还存在有2个大的局限。第一个，多聚焦在忏法的本身，它的宗教内涵，缺乏现代社会的实践关联。第二，对于仪式符号的文化转译机制探索不足。本文呢，试图从传统的仪轨的现代适应，为伦理来做一个切入的弥补缺口。
There are 3 levels of resonance between the idea of penance in the Emperor Liang's precious repentance and modern funeral rites. First, functional synthesis of spiritual comfort. Penance and modern funerals both address guilt and emotional burdens through confession, memory sharing, and ritual openness to promote psychological healing. Second, psychological resonance of the meaning of life. Repentance and green funerals both reflect on karma and life's value, arguing remembrance, gratitude, and ecological awareness in death rituals. 3. The ritual power of social integration. Penance fosters communal bonds, ancient through political myth, modern through shared rituals, creating spiritual resonance and emotional connection in memorials.
传统的梁皇宝忏通常必须经历有7日的功课仪轨，包括了开坛、拜忏组、放焰口等繁琐的程序。但是现代的丧葬比较倾向于简约至少3到4个小时的时间，以核心的仪轨保留了皈依三宝，空间的装饰让整个坛城呢非常的庄严。参与的方式呢比较灵活化，有写忏悔卡，或者是用最恭敬的心诚则灵的这样的精神来表达。尤其在环保的观念里面，时代的进步让每一个仪轨有简化，像树葬、海葬，或是现代 AI 互联网这样的一个特别的方式，让呢生者安宁，往生者呢得福。
The transformation of the practice of the Emperor Liang's precious repentance in modern funeral service, there is another 3 points here. First, simplification and innovation of ceremonial process. In modern funerals, simplify Emperor Liang's precious repentance by considering rituals into hours, extracting core elements like confession and vows, and streamlining repetitive practice. Traditional altar ethics merge with modern design and projection technology to enhance visual impact. Participation becomes more flexible, replacing kneeling with written confession cards for younger attendants, preserving Buddhist sincerity while adapting to contemporary needs. 2. Integration of environmental protection concepts and traditional penance practices. Green funerals have innovatively adapted Emperor Liang's precious repentance into 3 forms. Tree burials integrate karmic verses with symbolic watering. Sea burials use biodegradable urns and merit-sharing chants to unite Buddhist compassion with marine ecology and digital cloud confession. Rituals enable online spiritual communion, echoing Buddhist cosmology's idea of universal Dharma connection. These adaptations preserve core values while embracing ecological and technological contexts. 3. Negotiations between personalized needs and traditional symbols. Modern funerals personalize Emperor Liang's precious repentance by customizing sutra selections to reflect the deceased's life, integrating favorite music style into hymns for emotional intimacy, and embedding family memories like live images and handwritten wills into the Making Wishes segment. These adaptations transform abstract Buddhist rituals into heartfelt, individualized impressions, honoring both spiritual tradition and personal legacy.
借鉴社会学家哈布尔赫的集体记忆理论，梁皇宝忏在现代丧葬中 应用本质上是通过符号的仪式、选择性的传承来激活文化的记忆。在符号的转译方面，将地狱报应这样的恐怖转述为生命教育的正向发展；意义赋权上，将心理治疗这样的现代内涵能够消除业障这样的宗教表述，让我们的情绪能够得以释放。社会重构方面，通过忏悔的参与，让整个家庭的制度不再疏离，亲缘的关系能够更加的紧密，延续儒家的慎终追远伦理的精神。
Theoretical enlightenment from the perspective of cultural memory. First, modern interpreted form work and of traditional rituals. The modern use of Emperor Liang's precious represents activities cultural memory via selective ritual transmissions. Symbol translation reframes hell imagery into life education. Example, animated karma stories to reduce anxiety. Psychological empowerment, allegiance, karmic elimination with emotional release, treating penance as spiritual therapy. Community reconstruction revives kinship bonds and confusion funeral ethics within fragmented modern families.
在现代台湾的这个忏悔法门多趋向商业化，所以呢，圣严法师曾经警示说，若只追求形式的忽略精神内涵，便会失去忏悔的本意。所以呢，本文提出解行并重的改革方向：第一个，知识化的导向；第二个，体验式的设计；第三个，社会化的参与，让所有的一切能够回归到忏的本质。
Second, reflection on the commercialization of repentance greed. To counter the commercialization of penance, reforms emphasis depth over form. Knowledge-oriented adds scripture, explanations to clarity that confession awakens the heart, not just tones. Experiential design include reflection session to transform ritual into emotional healing. Social involvement like penance with public welfare, embodying Mahayana altruism and avoiding utilitarianism.
从南朝梁武帝救度的愿望到当代赏藏精神的选择，梁皇宝忏经过了千余年的传承，见证了佛教仪轨对中国社会的运动，它的适应性。从理论层面，在建构传统忏悔的文化到现代丧葬的需求，它的分析架构揭示了两者在心灵慰藉到生命意义，最后社会整合的三个维度的层面契合。到实践层面，总结出简化的创新、环保的理念、个性的协商，成为现代转化的模式。文化方面，梁皇宝忏作为文化记忆的载体为独特的，它具有特殊的符号价值，回应了现代生命的困惑。这是未来我们可以进一步更加的进入现代的所谓的 AI 的这些资讯，可以做更好的对梁皇宝忏的差异性的解读，全面性的掌握传统宗教在现代语境下的演变轨迹。
Okay, so this is my conclusion. This study highlights the adaptive vitality of Emperor Liang's precious repentance across time. Theoretical level builds a framework linking traditional penance to modern funeral needs through spiritual, existential, and social dimensions. Second, practical level identifies three transformation modes: ritual simplification, eco-integration, and personalization for contemporary relevance. Cultural level positions the repentance ritual as a cultural memory carrier, bridging historical tradition with modern spiritual concerns. Future direction suggests exploring digital physical fusion and regional reinterpretations to understand religious evolution in modernity.
感谢大家的聆听。
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, Venerable Chanjing, for this presentation. And now may I invite Swan Lai? Yeah. Now, next speaker is Swan Lai for his presentation exploring Mahayana Buddhism from the perspective of Shikoku Islands. Thank you.
Dear ladies and gentlemen, dear every guest, my name is Lai Xiu Wan. I have a journey to Japan in May, and my purpose is to worship 88 temples. I exploring Mahayana Buddhism's core spirit. So here, my article's name is Exploring Mahayana Buddhism from the perspective of Shikoku Islands pilgrimage in Japan. The first, introduction. Buddhism is popular in Shikoku Island, Japan, and there are many temples. Even today, there is still an activity of visiting 88 temples called Shikoku pilgrimage. The 88 temples all belong to the Shingon sect of esoteric Buddhism. It is said that this route was opened by Master Kukai to hone the will of monks. The 1,400-kilometer practice route has a history of 1,250 years. Each temple has a master hall to worship Master Kukai. Pilgrims first visit the main hall and then the master hall, which shows the importance of Master Kukai. This article first discusses the main details of the 88 temples in Shikoku Island, then describes the worship procedure, and concludes with an interpretation of the Mahayana meaning shown in the religious activities of the Shingon sect. 2. Procedure of worship. First, wash your hands when you enter the temple. After washing your hands, start worshiping. The two halls that must be visited are the main hall and the master hall. First, light candles and place them on the candleless sticks. Light incense and worship. Pick up the bell rope to ring the bell. Put the naza into the naza box and put 5 yen or more into the money box. The tour guide gathers travelers to stand in a corner and start chanting. The procedure is opening stanza, Hatha Sutra once, Manditi mantra once, Kukai master's name 3 times, and dedication stanza. Three, main deities of temples. Among the names of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, that are the main deities of temples. Medicine Buddha are the most present with 24 temples. The second was 11 face Avalokiteshvara with 11. Thousand-handed Avalokiteshvara with 10. Amitabha with 10. Valochana with 6. Shakyamuni with 5. Ksitigarbha with 5. Holy Avalokiteshvara with 4. Akasagarbha with 3. And the others with only one appearance in 10. List of the main Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 88 temples in Chicago pilgrimage. Fourth column is the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas' name. The first, most is Medicine Buddha. Total appear 23. The temple's number is like the list. The second 11 face of Avalokiteshvara is 11. And you can see next 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. The fourth, the vows of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas from the perspective of the power of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. First, Medicine Buddhas have the 12 great vows. The second, Amitabha Buddhas have the 48 great vows. The third, Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva will, saving all sentient beings, then attaining body. The fourth, Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva's will is seeking out the cries of the suffering, responding to prayers in 1,000 places. The fifth, Vairochana Buddha, illuminating the universe. The 88 temples on Shikoku pilgrimage reflect the spirit of the Mahayana Bodhisattva path, not abandoning any sentient beings. Mahayana Buddhism emphasizes the Bodhisattva vehicle, the prajna nostalgia concept, and the salvation of all living beings. It allows in the northwest of India around the 18th century. The main deities worshipped in the 88 temples all have the wish to save all living beings. This shows that the Buddhist faith spread by the Shingon sect of Japan is Mahayana Buddhism. The statues of Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva in the following attached pictures mostly hold infants. The Japanese believe that dead infants cannot be reincarnated and will cry beside the Nine-Her Bridge. Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva will protect these dead infant souls and return them to the path of reincarnation. This shows the Mahayana character of Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva. So there are many Ksitigarbha statues in temples. The fifth conclusion. The void is exhausted. Sentient beings are exhausted. Nirvana is exhausted, and my wish is exhausted. Everybody can see the picture. The painter Congo is the prophecy of Master Huiguo to Master Kukai, to be like Vairochana Tathagata, who can illuminate the universe. The words, the void is exhausted, come from the Avalamsaka Sutra. Semantam hundreds vows. When the void, sentient beings, and the nirvana are exhausted, my wish will never be exhausted. These 12 words emphasize endless compassion and firm determination. My wish is to help self-sentient beings and achieve greater value. So you can see the right picture. The void is gone, all sentient beings are gone. Never is gone, my wish is gone. It's the fourth pillar, left pillars later. Okay. And okay. My article is end. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, ma'am, for giving his presentation about Mahayana Buddhism in Japan. Now, I request our last distinguished speaker, Dr. Kai Wen-cheng, to present his presentation on Dharma Master Cheng Yen and Tzu Chi's transnational practice of repaying the Buddha's kindness in his homeland and sacred sites. Thank you.
Okay. Namaste. Hello, everyone, my dear and most respect all professors here. I want to thank for your all of this conference. And it's my pleasure to take part in this international conference to make this report, Devotion in Action, Dharma Master Cheng Yen and Tzu Chi's transnational practice of repaying the Buddha's kindness in his homeland and sacred sites. My name is Kai Wen-cheng from Formosa, Taiwan, Tzu Chi University, assistant professor. Okay. This is the research subject. Master Cheng Yen, she built this headquarters of Tzu Chi in Hualien, Taiwan. And 3 years ago, Tzu Chi went into India. And this is new Tzu Chi Bodhi Gaya office in Bodhi State Hotel. This presentation examines how Dharma Master Cheng Yen and the Buddhist Tzu Chi Foundation have engaged in transnational religious practice in Nepal and India, specifically focusing on their initiative to repay the Buddha's kindness in his homeland and the sacred sites through humanitarian work. Through comprehensive analysis of Tzu Chi's activities in Lumbini and Bodhi Gaya, we explore how religious devotion is transformed into concrete social actions, creating a model that fuse faith praxis and community empowerment. Okay, let's just brief introduction for Tzu Chi. Dharma Master Cheng Yen, a distinguished Taiwanese Buddhist nun, ordained under Dharma Master In Shun. He has dedicated her life to actualizing Buddhist compassion through social engagement. For nearly 6 decades, she has developed Tzu Chi's 4 missions: charity, medicine, education, and culture, establishing numerous institutions, including the Buddhist Tzu Chi Merit Association, charity foundation, hospitals, universities, and media, monthly, books, radio, and TV. Okay, these are my research questions. How does Tzu Chi transform the religious imperative of repaying the Buddha's kindness? In Chinese, we say 回报佛恩 into spiritual practice through social involvement in Nepal and India? And how do these efforts re-establish the presence of Buddhist compassion at sacred sites like Lumbini and Bodh Gaya? So the pictures is Master In Shun and Master Zhen Yan. Okay, the 4 missions: charity, medicine, education, and culture. So Master Zhen Yan want to establish 4 missions in Bodh Gaya. Okay, this historical development of Tzu Chi's South Asian engagement from 1993. Following the severe flooding in Nepal in 1993, Tzu Chi selected 3 of most devastated and resource-deprived districts: Salahai, Rahat. Let me show this. Yeah, Salahai, Rahat, and Magadh. This is a location, Tzu Chi village, with 1,800 great love houses. Its name. So that's the look. We can look at the picture, the before and after. So Tzu Chi construct for Tzu Chi villages. Okay, just many years ago. Okay, so in Lumbini, they use medical care, education, community empowerment. So Tzu Chi has the improvement of local health conditions and public hygiene awareness in Lumbini, beyond providing mobile medical clinics and free consultations. The foundation has addressed defects in both healthcare service and preventive public health knowledge. Since 2016, Tzu Chi has partnered with the Nepal Healthcare Foundation to develop a border medical care network in the Buddha's birthplace. So we can see Tzu Chi has actively engaged in foundational infrastructure improvement in Lumbini. And this model represents a transition from emergency relief to strategic development planning, demonstrating how humanitarian assistance can evolve into sustainable vision rooted in ethical continuity and local agency. And in 2021, Tzu Chi partnered with Maribor Maitre to launch a work for relief clothes mask production project. And through this Tzu Chi demonstrates how religious compassion can be translated into grassroots empowerment, especially for women. Okay, next one, in Bodh Gaya, housing reconstruction. In 2023, the Great Love Village Housing Reconstruction Project in Silonja village in Bodh Gaya and transforming severe inadequate living conditions. From the assessment, construction, completion, and handover, we can look at the pictures assessment, and this groundbreaking ceremony, and this is the ceremony for handover. So Tzu Chi built 36 houses, the first step. The groundbreaking ceremony for the project was held on February 25, 2024, and 1.25 agreed plot of land, despite implementation challenges, including incomplete administrative data and land verification issues. Through door-to-door visits and documentations audits, 36 households were confirmed to have legal property rights and qualified for reconstruction. Construction concluded on October 27, 2024. The next day, a ceremony handover took place with 28 Buddhist monastics present. 36 volunteers respectfully presented houses keys and blankets to each family, as residents gathered to mark the beginning of a new chapter in village development. Another project is Zero Dropout Program for educational transformation. And the permanent established Tzu Chi Bodh Gaya office in September 13, 2023, near the Mahabodhi temple, serve as residential and cultivation space for volunteers and vocational training hub and humanitarian coordination platform. So Tzu Chi Deputy CEO Lin Biyu called it home for all Tzu Chi people, with a symbolic and communal resonance. The center quickly launched activities spanning Tzu Chi's 4 core missions, demonstrating the replicability of its transnational experience. Okay. Okay, in conclusion, this study has explored the transnational acts of gratitude and engagement undertaken by the Dharma Master Cheng Yen and the Tzu Chi Foundation across the Buddha's homeland and the sacred sites. These efforts reveal a distinctive model that integrates humanitarian ethics, faith-based morality, and a sustainable development. Through its projects, Tzu Chi demonstrates a high degree of intercultural adaptability, and localized integration, embodying its spiritual commitment to devotion in action and religious actions for repaying the Buddha's kindness. The second, social impact and transformation outcomes. On the social level, Tzu Chi's engagement, driven by the core religious ethos, extend beyond the improvement of material conditions. More profoundly, the Foundation's efforts have fostered psychological upliftment, reinforcing local residents' confidence and self-identity. These outcomes empower communities both educationally and economically, demonstrating the transformative potential and tangible contributions of faith-based charitable organizations. In summary, Tzu Chi's practice in sacred sites do not merely provide relief, they integrate belief with action, cultivating local identification and transformation. This approach is a mode of social participation deeply rooted in Buddhist ethical values. While Tzu Chi will continue to encounter linguistic, institutional, and cultural challenges, its transnational experience represents a valuable corpus for the global study of religious charity, and it merits inclusion in interdisciplinary theoretical dialogues across religious studies, anthropology, and sociology, expanding the scope and scholarly understanding of contemporary Buddhism's role in sustainable global development. Okay, so thank you for your listening.
Thank you, sir, for delivering your presentation. Now we can take some time for discussion. If any queries, questions, you may ask. Otherwise, we will proceed for closing ceremony. If any queries, questions, anyone? Okay. Now I think we may proceed. Now I request to Dr. Sanjay Tiwari, sir, Head of Pali Department, Magadh University, Bodh Gaya, to conclude this session.
थैंक यू। ये सर्वप्रथम हिंदी में बात करें। सर्वप्रथम ये मगध विश्वविद्यालय में आप ताइवानी डेलीगेट्स अफगान यूनिवर्सिटी से आपका बहुत बहुत मगध के धरती पर स्वागत है। इसके लिए और MOU करने के लिए आए हैं। और उसमें लास्ट सेशन में ये रूलिंग जो है वो अशोका रॉक पर बतलाया। वो 14 रॉक एडिट में वो धौली रॉक पर उन्होंने चर्चा की है। और स्क्रिप्ट में वो ब्राह्मी ने भी बताया। तो हमारे यहाँ ब्राह्मी और खरोष्ठी भी एक स्क्रिप्ट उस समय हुआ करती थी। ब्राह्मी और खरोष्ठी बहुत अच्छा आपने बोले। ब्राह्मी अक्रोस्टी उसमें 2 लिपि होती थी, ब्राह्मी नहीं अक्रोस्टी भी होती थी।
मौली में नहीं है सर।
मौली नहीं, मतलब उसमें स्क्रिप्ट पर बात कर, हम उसमें के अनुसार बोल रहे हैं। अच्छा, ओके ओके, इसलिए आप आए, बहुत अच्छा स्पीच दिए, इसलिए बहुत बहुत थैंक्स। सेकंड जो है पुंजू पाई, तो PhD स्टूडेंट, थैंक यू फॉर मगध। वो नेचुरल स्पेस और पर आपने जो बोला 4 नोबल ट्रूथ पर आपका स्पीच भी था, स्पीच में 4 नोबल ट्रूथ 8 फोल्ड पाथ पर भी चर्चा किए थे। वो आपके लिखा में दुख निरोध, दुख समुदाय, दुख निरोध गामिनी प्रतिपदा, 4 नोबल इक्वल टू 4 नोबल ट्रूथ। 4 नोबल ट्रूथ, दुख निरोध गामिनी, सफरिंग फॉर द दुख। तो 4 नोबल ट्रूथ, बुद्धिज्म टेक्निकल टर्मिनोलॉजी, 4 नोबल ट्रूथ, 8 फोल्ड पाथ। बुद्धिस्ट टेक्निकल टर्मिनोलॉजी, 4 नोबल ट्रूथ, 8 फोल्ड पाथ, सम्यक दृष्टि, सम्यक संकल्प, सम्यक वचन, सम्यक कर्म, सम्यक आजीविका, व्यायाम, स्मृति, समाधि। ये 8 इक्वल टू 8 फोल्ड पाथ। तो और लाइट पर उन्होंने चर्चा किया, तो बुद्ध ने कहा अत्यदीपो भव, अपने आप में जो ज्ञान रूपी दीप है उसको आप बढ़ाइए, जलाइए। दीपक का प्रकाश, लाइटिंग का प्रकाश अपर साइड जाता है ऊपर की ओर, तो अत्यदीपो भव।
就是要发挥自己的一个光明，这样子就是自己的智慧。对对，他在 review 你们的这个演讲，这样子。对。
बुद्धिज्म टेक्निकल टर्मिनोलॉजी अत्यदीपो भव, पाली टर्म। तीसरे जो वक्ता है वेन चांग सिंह, वो स्ट्रक्चर धर्म पर विशेष रूप से बोले, धर्म के से तो धर्म पाली वर्ड धम्मा अत्तनो लक्षणं धारयति धम्मो, पाली टेक्निकल टर्मिनोलॉजी अत्तनो लक्षणं।
他现在在讲禅心法师的部分。
अग्नि का धर्म है जलाना, दाहकता, जलाना। वो ये नहीं देखता ये है वो है ये है XYZ, नो, जलाना।
好，他这边吸收到的有一个点，就是说，对，假设是火，有没有火的属性就是燃烧，它会燃烧这样，它不会有太多的假设跟条件这样子。好，水呢？
पानी भी ये भेद नहीं करती है कि इसको पिलाना है, उसको पिलाना है, इसको पिलाना है, सब।
意思是它没有分别心，火跟水都一样。好，它没有分别性，看你是怎么运用它，有没有？你是大人小朋友，你跳进水里，它都会淹，它不会因为小朋友他就放过你或这样子啊。他讲的是，从这个佛教的话，它是没有分别心的啊。
नेचर, नेचर। ओके, थैंक यू। वो सोवान ताई ने महायाना बुद्धिज्म पर अवलोकेश्वर बुद्धा, अमिताभ बुद्धा, ये सब पर चर्चा किए हैं। तो अब अमिताभ बुद्धा में भगवान बुद्ध का अमिताभ बच्चन को हम लोग देखते हैं कि अमित बहुत है। अमित मतलब जिसकी ज्ञान की एक शब्द है अमित, एक शब्द है सीमित, जिसकी ज्ञान की कोई सीमा ना हो, अमित।
好，OK， 那个我们说完来，那个博士哈，那他现在在解说哈，你的有一个重点他要讲，他讲说是您有提到阿弥陀佛，观世音菩萨哈这些，那阿弥陀佛印度文叫做阿弥达。那他在解释那个文字哈，阿弥，那还有一个文字叫 simit 就是限制，然后阿弥就是阿斯弥，它没有被控制、被限制的意思。 名字的前面的意思，这样子所以它是就是可以说，很就是心包太虚无限，无限的一个无量，对，不可限量，无量佛，他是这样用印度文在解释，对，因为教授们很用心啊，他们每一位都是他的笔记，他有做笔记啊，每一位对都是印度文这样子，
Fifth, जो काइवान चेंग
郑教授，郑教授，
आपने different school, monastery, sorry, school, अस्पताल वो सिलौंजा जो हमारे नेटिव प्लेस बकरौर के बाद में जो गाँव है एसोसिएशन बना रहे हैं, ये बहुत अच्छा होमलैंड पर आपने वर्क कर रहा है, इसलिए बहुत thanks
他说谢谢郑教授，还谢谢，就是他了解到说，你刚刚讲的那些字由，那些地方名字啊 ，Slonja 啊这些，就是在我们的附近。那他也是有去过，他有看过这个慈济的这个发心的部分，所以他也很感谢慈济，还有感谢您，很高兴今天，有这样的机会可以互动这样子，
Thank you, many thanks.
谢谢大家，非常感谢哈。我们谢谢教授，我们给所有教授热烈掌声啊！阿里乌扎嘞，谢谢 ，Thank you so much。好，那我们稍等。
Thank you, sir, for concluding the session. Now it's time to closing the ceremony, and now it's time to present some certificates to participants. And for this, I would like to invite on dais Dr. Satendra Kumar Sinha sir, convener of this ceremony, of this seminar, to present the certificate. I invite Professor Po Chi Huang from Ho Fan University, Taiwan.
Indeed, he is our convener for this whole academic event.
Okay. Now I will call the name, and I request to come on dais to receive the certificate. Li Juan Zhuang. Li Juan Zhuang, please come on a stage to receive the certificate from Dr. Satendra Kumar Sinha sir, convener of this. Now, Venerable Tien Huan Shi, please come on dais to receive the certificate. Venerable Fa He Shi, now Chien and Chen, please come on the stage to receive the certificate. Yeah. Now, Yorulin, ma'am, please come on stage to receive the certificate.
上台的时候小心地上有很多线哈。
Now, Yunju Pai.
白玉如啊。Okay.
Yun Yu Pai, please receive your certificate. Now, Shaw Wan Lai, please.
赖手腕，赖手腕。
Now, Venerable Chanzin, please come on stage.
禅心法师。
Dr. Kai Wen Cheng.
郑凯文教授。
So, these are our participants of this ceremony. Thank you. Okay, now I have some more names. Mr. Feng Ming Chen. Mr. Feng Ming Chen is present here. Mr. Feng Ming Chen. Okay. Okay. Okay, rest of the certificates have been delivered. Okay. Now, one more name I have, Mr. Siddharth Kumar, for contributing. Thank you, Siddharth Kumar, for contributing for this, for his part, for the same. Yeah. Now I request to Professor Pochi Huan for giving the certificate to our participant and contributors to present the certificate. Upendra Kumar. Upendra Kumar, yeah. Please come on dais to receive your certificate. Upendra Kumar. Gautam Kumar. Gautam Kumar. Saurabh Kumar. Saurabh Kumar. Ritika Ratnam. Ritika Ratnam. Yeah. They are PhD students of Ancient Indian and Eastern Studies of Magadh University, Bodh Gaya. And thank you to all of you for contributing for this ceremony. Lolim Raj Mishra. Okay, Lolim Raj Mishra is not present here. Rahul Kumar. Rahul Kumar. Amit Kumar. Amit Kumar is present here. Anjali. Anjali, research scholar in Ancient Indian and Eastern Studies Department, Magadh University, Bodh Gaya. आपको सब लास्ट कर देते मनोज कुमार पांडे Manoj Kumar Pandey, research scholar from Ancient Indian and Asian Studies, Magadh University, Bodh Gaya. Dr. Binay Gopal. अच्छा आपका सर यही thank you very much, Dr. Binay Gopal, sir, for contributing, for organizing, this ceremony. Thank you for all things. Now, some names I have Sri Gokaran Ram. Sri Gokaran Ram. Yeah. And now, now I am name of Dr. Vivek from Buddhist Studies Department, Magadh University, both. Thank you, Dr. Vivek. Okay. Thank you.
If you want to give some books, give to me.
Okay.
Professor from
Okay. Now, our announcement is that, first of all, thank you, Pochi Wang sir, for this contribution. And now, some books are being presented to Mr. Shankar Sharma, AIS Department, Magadh University, Bodh Gaya, and this is kindly some gifts in form of books from Huafan University, Taiwan. Thank you, Shankar Sharma sir, for contributing for all things. Yeah. Dr. Alka Mishra, Assistant Professor in AIS Department, Ancient Indian and Asian Studies Department, Magadh University, Bodh Gaya. Thank you, ma'am. Now it's time for me.
Chandra Prakash sir, Assistant Professor.
Is Dr. Chandra Prakash, Assistant Professor from Ancient Indian and Asian Studies. Yes.
It's okay, only 3 to 4. Yeah, our convener, Satendra sir, please, our convener.
Now I invite for vote of thanks to Mr. Shankar Sharma sir, Assistant Professor, Ancient Indian and Asian Studies Department, Magadh University, Bodh Gaya.
Before
आपका मिल गया
So now we have arrived to the final session of this academic proceeding. On behalf of Magadh University, Bodh Gaya, I am Shankar Sharma, Assistant Professor from Ancient Indian and Asian Studies Department. It is indeed a great privilege for this university also that we have learned many things in this intellectual gathering. We have learned many perspectives. Those have been delivered by the erudite scholars from the Taiwan and Huapan University. Of course, we have been enlightened from very in-depth knowledgeable professor like Pochi, who has been delivered a lecture over the contemporary time of the Buddha related to the Bimbisara. So I would like to thank all the scholars, those who have come from very far away from Taiwan, and I would like to thank most venerable the monks and the nuns, those who have come from Taiwan and our different institutions. Organizing this kind of intellectual dialogue always provide a greater opportunity for the scholars, those who are enthusiastic to learn the new ideas, the new perspectives, the new theory, whatever is going into the research world. So it is our privilege to hold this kind of program, the academic program, and we hope, as our Honorable Vice Chancellor has committed, that in the future we would like to make more greater ideas and organize in a greater way to discuss, to sit together and to discuss about the different new things, whatever is being going on in the world of Buddhism. So I again welcome all the delegates at this very enlightenment zone, you can say, because the Magadh itself represents a zone of enlightenment that have radiated since hundreds of years since the foundation of the Buddhism that was laid by the Master Buddha. So I thank you all, and I would like to thank a special thank to our convener, Dr. Satyendra Kumar Sinha sir, because he was the man a month before, whatever the concept was fixed by Professor Pochi, and he was the man, he was the professor who was looking after the entire things, how to negotiate with this organization, and I was the medium to just consulting his organization. And I also thanks all my colleagues, Dr. Alka Madam, Dr. Chandra Prakash ji, and my young volunteers, my research scholars. And I would like to a special thanks to Professor Sanjay Kumar sir. He is the head of the Pali department. At least he is remain be othered with us at the last moment. So I give you a special thanks, sir, for this support. And with permission of all the triple gems, the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, I would like to just conclude here that may Lord Buddha give you all the strength for your long prosperity in the life. Thank you, everyone. I would like to request all the delegates to come over the dais for a group photograph. Yes.
请大家有那个演讲者我们上台好。请大家那个我们现在还没有结束啊，所以我们要轻声细语，然后现在上来那个有演讲者哈，请上台，我们要合照一下，这样子是。नहीं अच्छा हाँ ठीक है सर因为舞台太小哈那个舞台太小एक मिनट आने दीजिए पहले से他说哈那个教授说 好，你们自己安排一下。对对，不要遮，尽量不要遮，尽量不要遮，尽量不要遮。
没关系的，没关系的，你进来了，我还是西瓜甜不甜？
可以。